Hi everyone. How are we doing? Good morning, good morning. Live on Twitch. Also should be live on YouTube as well. Should be. Yes. Yes. Hi James, Dejan, Tao. Good morning. All right. As always, pretty chilled Wednesday streams. Yapping about random shit and scanning the market. Actually just took the short this long, sorry, for the group on ARC. I do like it for a short, but not yet. If we can, essentially I'm looking for a bit of a more aggressive move up here to short into, probably into the 0.05 to 0.04ish region for a short. It had my classic like continuation setup trade on it. I just noticed it a little bit late. But what we had was a little bit of a flush and liquidations into the developing weekly value area high. And along with that, we get like a peak in the Z score down into the -2 region, which often leads to like some nice continuation setups. Another example here, a bit of a flush here. You can see a bit of a flush into that developing weekly value area high. Z score goes into that -2 and it offers a nice bounce. And not only that, like in terms of values, it's trading above this like not last week's prior week value, but the week before, where it had a strong trending week. We're now trading back above that value. We're trading above the developing monthly value. We're trading above the prior monthly value area high. We're trading above the prior quarterly value area high. We're trading above essentially, you know, all developing value area highs and prior value area highs apart from the yearly. What we are doing is we're trading above this prior yearly VWAP. And what you can see here, I've got it written down the right hand side of the screen. We can see a big gap in volume, right? Really low volume above here from where this move down was left. And in terms of like flow right now, there's a pretty strong bid on it. But I don't necessarily always trust it, especially with the way things have been scamming lately. It's a pretty, I've entered with a smaller size on this trade just basically because of the risk and the funding. If we take a look at the funding, you can see it's really high right now on Binance and also on Bybit as well. Really high funding. So we are at risk of, you know, of top blasting here, but I think we could get one more spike up. And that what brings me to my short area. Okay, like if we get this spike into the short area and it just continues to like gap up, where, you know, there's potential for a big breakout trade here. But that will come later, depending on whether we, first of all, get into my short region, and two, whether we get a trigger there. I won't short blindly, but I like that area for a short if we go up there, essentially sweeping this high from January and also the high from back in May last year. But yeah, good potential for a big scam move higher if this really catches on. But overall, that was a really nice little sort of drop, like a 7% drop into this area. In terms of like a trend, the trend is there, and you know, I could see like a 15 to 18% move from here. So that's kind of why I went long. Fairly low risk trade with good with high reward essentially. So I'm doing good, bro. Thank you. Ah, I was on the wrong screen, mate. All right, this was happening last week, and now this week I'm actually gonna get it locked down. All right, this week I'm gonna get it locked down. But yeah, essentially big gap above. Funding's pretty high right now. Above a bunch of values overall looks good for a move up. So wonder if I can get it like so it automatically changes to the application that I'm choosing, because I don't want to share my like whole screen in case I like flash something up. So I just share like the application, and then on my Streamlabs I have like different sources. Mosta, good morning. Yeah, current got caught a nice hype short for the group yesterday. If you're interested, you can join the group following that link I sent. It's we got a 12% move, 30, well, like a 14% move essentially, and I TP'd into a 10% move, and I've got a small portion left in this trade, but I've been waiting a while for this $37 region on hype to take a short, and right now we're holding above the prior weekly value area high and also above the developing monthly VWAP, so an okay place for it to hold in terms of like hype and continuing. But if we do get like a breakdown under like 33, I'm pretty sure we get sort of a move into 30, maybe even as low as 27, which is where I'll full TP my position. But right now I'm just, yeah, got a small portion left in this trade, but overall the brunt of the move has played out that I was looking for. Using my VWAP system, you can see starting to get some strong sell signals into this region I was looking at, and so yeah, that was a nice trade. Would that be a hard TP or partial TP into a possible scam move? So if we get a move into sort of like 0.04, 0.05, because this is kind of the area I'm looking at shorting, I would probably TP the majority of the trade, and then what I would do is I would leave a little bit left for the potential that it scams up to like 0.15, 0.16, unless I obviously got like, unless I partially TP, unless I like TP'd a bunch and then I started to get some triggers for a short, I would just full exit the position. I would see no reason to round trip profits on something like that. It's just wasted gains at that point. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been trying to catch scam moves on these coins. Used to be something I'd done quite often, but momentum lately has been pretty rough in terms of like trying to catch momentum on altcoins, and as you know, I've basically been ritually shorting these top gainers, but this one doesn't actually look ready to short yet in my opinion, so that's kind of why I'm looking for that extra pop higher on it. And let's see what else we got today. Solana looking good. How's Sol looking? When do I give you access to the indicator? I don't know. I don't know why I don't. I haven't got around to like finishing it. It's kind of finished, but also not finished. And I'm enjoying using it myself, I guess. And I have spoken about it like a fair bit in streams and in the Discord and stuff. So like if you pay attention to my streams, you probably would have worked out how it's happening. I don't know when I'll give it out. I was speaking to someone, well, actually, I was going to speak to someone. I had someone who was going to work on it for me and like finalize it and also put it into like an automation. So for like Discord alerts. But I haven't got around to that. Like most things I don't get around to. Soul is looking cooked. My God. Jesus. Trading under the 2024 value area low, the 2025 value area low. So essentially, it's almost back to December 2023 levels. I mean, you could say it's actually at December 2023 levels. How much is it down off the high now? 67%. How much did it do last cycle? Obviously, yeah. 96. Wait, it done 96% from all-time high. 95%. I mean, obviously you had the FTX. That was FTX. FTX block. So I don't know if it would do 95%, like realistically, because again, that would take it back to sort of like $10, but in hindsight, like, it's obvious really, wasn't it? Where is this gonna go, man? How does the order flow look on those corn 73k lows? We can have a look in a sec. 2025 low. Yeah, I mean, good to think. Again, it's really like everything is just going to come down to Bitcoin, like what Bitcoin wants to do and where Bitcoin is trading. Like, you know. What's ARK doing? It's rolling a bit here. See how it plays out. Be a bit frustrating if it just flushes straight from here, but that's what you get with top blasting. Small risk, high reward on these setups. More so, I'd be a bit frustrated that it doesn't pop up to here to short, because I was also posting in the group back here about looking for a short, but I never got a trigger on the 4 hour or like the 30-minute on the daily, monthly. Like it just front run that area a bit, and that was the previous short I was looking at taking, was back up here. Really, I should have shorted into this sort of retest. That was nice for a short, but kind of why I would like some short redemption on this at some point. Up here, ideally. I mean, equally, like a similar thing. You could probably play a similar short setup like this. See, it's had that similar grind up. If we had something similar on it here, right? Let's say this fails to give us continuation, right? This breaks down. You could probably short something like that. Just thinking out loud. But for now, I still like this setup. I see no reason why this shouldn't pop here. In terms of Sol, like, yeah, again, you would expect a bounce from this 2025 low, like SFP and this low, but it's really just going to come down to Bitcoin. Hi, Ted. Hope you're good. Like, this is really scary when it does this, when my indicator does this. When it like forms, you know, it offers these little intraday bounces, but like higher, like outside of that, you know, when these sort of strong buy signals continue to lead to fresh lows, it's not something I'm that interested in bidding. Like this was positive, right? You know, this, you get a buy signal and we reclaim the prior weekly value area low and we move up, right? Like it doesn't revisit that. But when we like make a buy signal and then we continue to roll, it's pretty concerning. It's not something I'm that interested in buying in. What I like to see is like essentially like an area of interest. Let's say this is the 2.5 to 3 standard deviation, right? Right, and price is trading up. And then, you know, let's say this price is trading up for like 1 week, right? And then you get a spike into this area, and then I get a strong sell signal up here, right? Get a strong sell signal up here. These are the sort of sell signals I like to take, rather than if price was doing this all week and it was offering sell signals, then it's not something I really like to take. Like hype, for example. You can see, you know, like basically no like strong sell signals for a while now. And then we started to get them into 37, which is where I was interested. I was like, okay, that's valid. I'll start to look for short there. Yeah, this is trying to buy into this is pretty scary for me, despite the buy signals. BTC, like for example, 4 hour, right? We can see like those buy signals essentially failed. This buy signal eventually like got a nice reclaim, and then okay, it held, never revisited for a while. And again, here we're starting to see a strong buy signal into the low yesterday on BTC. Really, it should have made a daily. Where's my watch list gone red? Oh, damn. It's just spiked 6%. Go on, give us a nice scam up. Give us a nice scam up. What was that bounce? 6%. What was I talking about? Or I got distracted. Yeah, BTC. So I waited up last night for a strong buy signal. I tend to use Coinbase. I think if you're trading like on, it doesn't really matter what exchange you're on. I guess sometimes it does matter. Sometimes when I'm like putting out levels on Bybit, it doesn't correspond too much with the levels on Blofin, where I mostly trade. But something like Bitcoin, right? You can see here that Bitcoin didn't actually give me a buy signal on the Coinbase pair on the daily last night. But if you go onto the Bybit perp pair, obviously Bybit perp seems to wick a little bit more. It's quite often that happens. It gave me a buy signal into that daily low. which is valid. It is a valid buy signal because it just, the Binance chart didn't wick as low. Where did Binance go? 72952, you know, 72942. So the Bybit chart wicked like $10 lower, and we eventually got that move into the minus 2.5 to 3 standard deviation. But what we have here is actually quite a nice sort of bull div, right? But the reason this didn't form, not to bore you, but it's because the Z score didn't go into -2. But essentially, this is a false bull div on the daily, which is what I was waiting for. A strong buy div, which looks like this. We can see we had strong buy divs back into the low back in February. So I'm actually monitoring here for a long on BTC. I'm sorry, I actually realized I haven't spoke about BTC. Yeah, but I do think this is a good place for BTC to bottom. Temporarily, we've got a nice weekly bull div forming down here, right? This could form at the end of this week, which is looking super nice. We backfilled SFP that low from April. So essentially, I'm looking for some sort of bounce here. I need to find an entry on BTC. That's sort of like my main idea. And looking for a bounce into sort of 81 to 84k. And this is when things get like really interesting, right? It's like how do we react into this area? Because obvious initially, our idea is that it's going to be a bearish retest, right? Bearish retest into 81 to 85k. That would be the level of interest for us to take a position into, and a short lower into like the 60s, where we sort of form maybe a further bear market through summer before bottoming and rallying into end of the year, to starting a fresh bull market. The other option is that this turns out to be a deviation, right? What we have is a big range, just as we had up here, big deviation. Obviously, this took many months to form, but we have a deviation above that, right? So if we do form a deviation here, and we lock in a reclaim back above sort of 84k, 81k, that looks good for a move back higher, standard range play. But for now, I think it does make sense that any move up we get, we look at shorting Bitcoin. I think that's the obvious trade, right? Given how weak we are in the market, like maybe we do something like this again, yeah? Sort of grind up into there, flag, bull trap, breakdown, right? Like it's obvious how, you know, we're still close to forming like what could be a bottom in the Bitcoin gold chart, but it's just that like Bitcoin is weak and gold is actually just still strong. Like it's holding 5k, it's bounced, like it's bounced 15% off the lows, you know. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat. I will catch up in a second. But if we look at the low, okay. The main low, when was the main low? Main low was back here. So look at the bounce off the lows. So silver up 25%, gold up 14%, and Bitcoin only up 1%. BTC even made fresh lows under that low we did on Monday. You know, like it's so much weaker than metals still. And like I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of moving on from the fact that like the rotation is gonna come soon. Like for me, that low on Monday was the low on Monday in the past couple of weeks was the window of opportunity where Bitcoin could like see this rotation from metals, especially after the blow off they had. You know, like the only reason I think that like we could see some sort of like relief from crypto and like is if metals start to weaken here, right? If this turns into like a right shoulder, yeah, on metals, like if this bounce from metals like turns into a right shoulder, and then like from gold, and we go into this some sort of consolidation for a couple months, right? Same with silver, right? We sort of bounce and then we right shoulder, yeah, and then we consolidate for a couple months. This is sort of, this right shoulder is when we were going to be looking next. Like right now, like I'm unsure on the whereabouts, and just kind of focused on day trading alts for the time being and ignoring the higher time frame stuff until we get some like much clearer signals. Like I tweeted about yesterday, like my mindset towards altcoins for probably the past 6 months has been bearish, right? Like if you followed me, you know how bearish I've been on altcoins for months now. The problem I couldn't do that, like I couldn't relay that bias over to Bitcoin, because I think my outlook for Bitcoin is that, you know, I believe that this asset will continue to go up for years and years to come. Whereas when I look at altcoins, I don't believe that's the case. I believe altcoins are a way for us to just extract volatility from the market, beta from the market, and use them to our abilities to like day trade them. But when we're looking at like Bitcoin, I would maybe not even like, I guess if you want to put Ethereum into that category, but like I'm unsure now, like on Ethereum. I mean, I have been unsure on a while. Like Ethereum is a bit of a curse, really, isn't it? Like, it's different. Like, I think that's the problem. What's always flipped me from like being like max bear on Bitcoin is because like I believe in the longevity for it. I believe in the future of it, which is blindsiding me a bit because I've ignored some solid setups and short signs on Bitcoin for downside. But like I was adamant that I was pretty adamant that 84k was going to be the low. Now we've lost 84k. I'm kind of like twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, okay, what's next? You know, like I was pretty confident we were gonna bottom into 84k. Now this is not convincing. You know, this structure on BTC is just not convincing. Like it's just not convincing really to be a buyer in. So yeah, I'll just continue to do what I do best, and that's day trading alts, shorting scam coins, and trying to play breakouts on a few of them. But when it comes down to like the higher time frame, something's big got a shift for me now to have like interest in Bitcoin again. Time will tell, really. I can't sit here and say what it is. And in terms of altcoins, like I still believe that a great reset, a great cleanse is due on most of them. If the market needs to send some of these coins to oblivion so they never return. If Bitcoin had formed a long wick, that would have been better for a long, I think. Yeah, of course. Don't you think it's worth a punt to swing from here? I do think like it is a nice place to bottom. Like I just need to see a little bit more convincing like flow. Like this bounce is, you know, we've got that flush and we're stalling below. Yeah, if we done something like this on BTC, like let's say today in New York session we get a reclaim back above this area, you could long here. I think targeting 81 to 84. That would be a good setup for you to take. But right now, when we're like bouncing and then getting stuck below here, it's not a recipe for continuation. Right here, look, same thing, right? Like get that flush down, we bounce and we get stuck and we roll again. Yeah, essentially the same thing here. We break down, we bounce, we get stuck essentially under this resistance and we roll. And then we're stuck again, right? Look, roll, stuck, no. We need to flip above here and we can break up to like 81 to 84. You know, you can see it's sort of done a similar thing here. We got like the flush down. Eventually, we then reclaimed above here, and we got a little move up. But eventually, we just rolled again, right? It's like bounce, like flush, bounce, weak bounce, roll, weak bounce, roll, right? Essentially, weak bounce rolls, weak bounce rolls. Like we want to see some strength into this bounce, right? We want to see this reclaim above here, and then we can move up. That's essentially what I'm looking for here, and I'll try to chase along, I think. A lot of rejection points above the corn. 78. Yes. Yeah, that's it. It needs to flip like 79, to be honest. Yeah, there was a crazy amount of spot selling, I think, yesterday, so you see you, welcome. Oh, some people talk on YouTube. I forget multi-streaming. If you're on YouTube, then you can come over to Twitch. There's more people on Twitch. Okay. So yeah, currently in this arc scam. Let's see what else. Let's see what else we got. Oh, give me a sec. I just need to grab my phone charger. Squeeze to yearly open. What's a decent hype re-entry? Yeah, maybe a sweep of those current lows. I'll get the chart up in a sec. And that's what's just playing up, so. Fix that. Probably a sweep under these lows could be a nice entry for hype. I was sort of discussing it earlier. I'm short from the highs, but I TB most of it into this prior week value area high and also the developing monthly VWAP. If we lose there, if we accept below there, then you know probably $30. Overall, it still looks okay. It's like holding the quarterly value area high for now. Maybe like a sweep under these lows. You could look at longing. I think that's not if this was the low, that would be pretty nasty. Like consolidation for the lows, really, wasn't it? But yeah, overall, you know, we are still trading above that prior yearly VWAP. We're also, you know, trading more of that developing quarterly value area high. So this could not be finished. This could still be going to like 42, which I would look at reshorting. I don't know why that's up there. Why is it up the top? Yeah, okay, I'd say 31. 31 to 30 is probably a good bid for it. That's an important place to hold. Like if you were bidding 31 down to 30, that's a good place to bid. Prior monthly value area high, developing monthly value area low. Then obviously you got this like big cluster. Yeah, should hold into this region, really, if it's going to continue, like 40 to 42. Can I put on about an XI pump? XI, not a clue. Is it some sort of stock? You find out what it is, James, and tell me. Hi, Reggie. Right. Mate, River is swinging mad. Like, look how much is bounced today. Like, if you look at the 30-minute time frame, but like it's up essentially from that low. It's up 40%. The volatility on it is crazy right now. Are you sending this to me, James? Yeah, similar. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, that's 94k. I thought we were looking at like the 5-minute chart. It's a 1-day chart. Yeah, for sure. Like, that's what I've been discussing about this sort of 84k region, right? Like if we get a reclaim of that 84k region, like this will go back up here to the highs. This will take out like all of this move. Obviously way too early to say yet, but I think logically speaking, you should look for a bearish retest into this area first, more than anything. Right. Nearly forgot. Sort of 81 into 84. Flip there, then you get that move up. Zypum? I don't know. Maybe it's like maybe the president not trying to. Will he be the president? Seizing. Xi Jinping. He's the Chinese statesman and politician. Has served as the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah, probably something like that, wouldn't it? Come on, give us a fat scam here. Why is your watch list all red? I don't know. It does that sometimes. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign. Okay. Let's see what we got today. White whale is back up. Any interest in this? Maybe a short. What are we looking at? 6% move. Developing yearly value row high. Prior monthly value row high. I might just watch this. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Obviously we're in ARC. OAI. ACU. See, this is the type of shorts I like to look at here. Right? Remember what I was saying at the start? We start to get that sell signals coming in. Like, you know, it's been trading for, you know, day and a half now. Hasn't exactly been doing like this. It's like, now it's coming back, retesting it. What's the prior weekly value row low? I've been playing Arc Raiders, so this was a sign. It's a long arc today. Filled his bags at the lows, unbanned and dumped on everyone, and then rebanned it. Yeah. That seems like a likely scenario. Shout out to the people in power, man. Doing great things for our industry. What if Trump pump, right? It's just a blur. You know, let's imagine it was all a blur, you know? It's just like we're in November 2024 again. When you think about it, right? God, it feels like ages ago now, doesn't it? We kind of did reset, like, I was just thinking, like, if you take out, right, obviously Trump election, which was here, I guess. And then you take out the inauguration, which was... When was the inauguration? Around here? Around here? You know, we already done that. We essentially already like backfilled that imbalance. And then we could have like just viewed that whole move up as an anomaly, right? Like you could have just viewed this whole thing. It's like an anomaly, yeah. Why does that not let me go over the front? Bring to front. Anyway, you get the gist. Like we essentially, you know, we had the Trump like Trump election, got elected president, and he had the inauguration. You know, we could essentially just reviewed that whole move as like imbalance, and then we reset. We basically came back down and reset, right? We reset where where he got elected, and then we went up again. So market always finds balance. Market will always repair. What if Kamala was our way to financial freedom? I mean, she probably was, James, really, let's be honest. She probably was. All right, ACU, I kind of like this for a short if we get a little bit higher. So I'm going to set some alerts. Into here for sure. That looks quite nice. Around 0.19 to 0.19ish, really. What if XPL bottom is in and it flies to $1? What if I applied you for a mental institution? What about that? You're driving there? Be my guest. Mate, the top was in on this when those motherfucker like Echo deal guys was started calculating their profits. Remember JD was in the group with Impulse and was telling him how much he was up and how much he was gonna make. That was like Pico top. Two to 3 weeks in Dagestan and forget, yeah. Send your boy to Dagestan. 3 weeks. In all seriousness, let's look at XPO and see. Again, it brings me back to like the drops, right? Sharp aggressive drop, bounce, sell off, right? Sharp aggressive drop, bounce, sells off. Right? It's just not convincing PA to try and long into for me, really. But we just trickled back down. I just think there's much better things you could be trading than trying to time the bottom on XPL. Fucking, I should have shorted Zill. Fumbled this already. Fumbled Zill this week. Anyway, I'm not done looking at these top gainers to short. I hope he's not wrong and he's just early. For the sake of him. Weeks in Dagestan. Equally, some of these top gainers are good, like continuation setups, like the ARC trade we've took, but I want to see them in like fairly strong trends. ARC is kind of the only one right now. Like GPS, for example, this is probably not a bad continuation setup for it. Maybe not. Maybe on that bounce, but it's already fizzling out. Maybe if it forms a little div here, it could be a nice intraday long on GPS. Let's see. What's the gap? Bit of a gap above as well. Small gap, not a big one, but it's got potential. Daily is this is looking it's kind of diving. Daily's kind of diving right now. So many emojis. Emojis make the world go round, man. GPS. This is... It has scam potential. I think I would rather look for a short on it though. I think this could be a nice short soon. I'm going to set some alerts. Because look at the daily. Daily like diving massively. Nice sort of 3 drive, right? 1, 2, 3. And good level above prior quarterly value or high, so yeah, I'm gonna keep it on this for sure. I mean, if it starts to flip there, then sure, it will gap up, but I think the main trade right now is a short for GPS, really. You guys are longing Solana. Nice. Let me come and fudge you. I do agree with, like, you know, logically speaking, you know, it did sweep that low. It should bounce from here. I'm not convinced though. I just think there's better things out there to long. Yeah, good sweep of the lows. Let's look at the flow on it. All right, I'll give you this. If you lock in a reclaim setup here, I think that's a good long. Because I think you could potentially get a squeeze. Classic like reclaim breakout, right? Yeah. I think you could get a decent squeeze. Like nice licks into that low overnight. Probably had some shorts chasing down there as well. So I'll give you that. If you can get like a reclaim back above here, then I would I'd consider longing. Or another intraday, an intraday strong buy signal would be okay to consider. I'll give you that. Ow. Fine. Fine. Okay. All right, we'll look at Tau and then I'm on ahead. Okay, cooked. See you guys later. No, I'm joking. Joke. Honestly, for Tau, you've got a simple trade here, which will save you a lot of time and probably a lot of money. Fairly sure this will trickle out to backfill that wick from October, as long as it doesn't reclaim 200s, 220. If it locks in a reclaim of 200, 220, then you could probably take a long back towards these highs. But until then, I really wouldn't be surprised to see this trickle out back down towards like 120-ish. Personally, I would say look for a short on any pop into sort of the 200s at this point. Just looks like another breakdown like pattern on it, doesn't it? Really? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move my stop flat on this anyway. We're up like 5%. Realistically, shouldn't go back to our entry. Last week I took some losses on some longs because I wasn't conservative enough. So I'm gonna follow through with that. With that plan this week. More conservative on my long positions. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's stream. I appreciate it if you stop by. You can join the Discord. I'm streaming there most days. Also, like where I post my trades and thoughts and write-ups and other content, educational material. Equally, you can also follow me on Twitter. My socials are there. Thank you, everyone. We'll be live again next Wednesday as usual. Same time here on YouTube and Twitch. Been slacking on my YouTube game. I just like market's been pretty dry, to be honest, and like I just feel like I'm talking about the same shit in my YouTube videos. So I'll try and think of some new YouTube series to start doing because I do enjoy posting content. See you, Ted, James. Bye bye.